Hello, pickle people. We are back with our forever long question. Is this a pickleball podcast? We still don't have the answer. Let us know down in the comments. Is this a pickleball podcast? We're existential over here. We are always in crisis, but I am Matthew K. Pickleball, and I am joined today on this journey by my co-host, Mr. Wilson. Mr. Wilson, how are you doing on this rainy LA day?
A storm is brewing here, and I'm kind of bummed because this is my Friday, and usually the weekend is scheduled. I leave the weekend for pickleball, but I don't think I'm going to get any pickleball in unless we go to one of those indoor courts, which are probably going to be packed as well. So
They
I don't
will be
know.
packed, and I heard what's that thing? I think there might be some price gouging going on, I heard, but we won't name names. We
Supply
won't
and
name names.
demand. Supply and
Yeah,
demand. All
yeah.
right.
All right, LA indoor courts. Don't take advantage. Don't take advantage of addiction. Don't raise the prices on rainy weekends. But Wilson, if you find a place over the weekend, let me know because we are behind. But I did sneak away this morning. I knew we were in trouble. It was supposed to rain today. Sorry, folks. We had to push the podcast a day because you wouldn't believe it. I do some stuff other than pickleball. And my girlfriend's dad had a birthday dinner. And I was like, Wilson offered, Matthew, do you want to record late when you get back? And I was like, heck no, I'm going to bed. But we are a day late, but that's okay because we got some very cool stuff to discuss. But first, a few housekeeping items. We just gave away a Honolulu notch foam paddle. We just gave away a Thrive Fury paddle. I am desperately trying to give away a Carbon TruFoam Genesis 4. Hey, at Eric Booyah. Reply to the email. Reply to the comment on the channel. That is like my oldest giveaway, and that paddle. Carbon might discontinue this thing by the time you get back to me. Eric, you are on warning. I need you to reply, otherwise I'm gonna have to run it again. You have an email. Check your spam. And then if you're not Eric and you are not one of the other winners, don't worry. There are other giveaways on the channel. We are giving away a pair of Soleil's pickleball shoes with my 6-0 Ruby Pro review, a Rhombus Quanta still, as well as some Bodhi accessories with the Vatic V Soul video. And then out of the blue, Wilson, since I'm not sure if you watched my Black Opal review, but I
Yeah.
actually had a little. You did. Oh, you're that guy. You're the one viewer. All right. We are actually doing a paddle giveaway with that. As I'm sure everybody knows, the Black Opal is sold out. It's donezo. Hopefully they'll get more units available, but they knew they were going to sell out, so they didn't want to do a giveaway for a Black Opal. But we are giving away a quartz paddle, which I've done a video on already. That's a great little beginner paddle. I say it in my Black Opal review. It's a great paddle to put in the bag when you've been raging on all the seniors at open play with the Black Opal and want to give them a break and really use your skill. And so the quartz is a great little backup paddle as well. So check that video out if you want one of those. Did you ever hit with the quartz? I can't remember.
I have not.
You
Yeah.
have not. You guys, if it's not a freaking power paddle, Wilson's like, get it away from me. I'm
I,
not even
I,
gonna
I,
bother.
I don't have much muscle, so some assistance would be much
He
appreciated
needs
for me.
he needs the assistance. But and don't forget, folks, last podcast we are giving away a pickle zapper. If you need some assistance catching flies in the apartment, zapping the critters on the courts, check that out. We're always companies, folks. If you want to give something away, contact me. I'm addicted. I love doing the giveaways. It's fun. It is work. But folks, let me know. Are you guys digging the giveaways, even the odd items? Let me know. Comment down below. And while you're commenting, why don't you go ahead and subscribe to the channel? That helps us a lot. Leave us a like. And then follow us on your favorite podcast network, Apple, Spotify. We're finally got the kinks ironed out over with Spotify there. I think they're going to stop booting our pod. By the way, they did admit they reinstated the episodes that had the music clearance issues, but I mean, who's gonna go back? But
Time
anyway,
lost. Yeah.
time lost. It's a long story. I uploaded that episode 3 times, so then all of a sudden everything got fixed, and now I had 3 episodes, so I had to go clean it up. But I think we're in good shape now. And then I have a little topic for us to kick things off. But before we do, unless this episode goes way off the rails and I do it during this episode, next episode is going to be a little accessory guide. I want to go over what I think are probably good holiday accessory, like holiday gifts. So if you got someone in the fam that's a pickleball lover, I think, I don't know, I think getting your partner or a loved one a paddle is always a risk because you don't really know what they want. They probably don't know what they want unless they've outright told you. And so what I'm suggesting to folks is get the paddle adjacent products, get the other pickleball gear. And so I've already put together probably my top 10 or so suggestions, but folks, comment down below if there's something you think I should check out. I think that's gonna be our next episode, unless Wilson has a lot to say on this pod. But if he gets a little camera shy, we might do it today, but I don't think so. I think that will be the next episode, and then Wilson will have a chance to bring some suggestions to the table as well. But yeah, comment down below. Let me know if there's an accessory I should be checking out or including. And now, Wilson, here's the topic, the upfront topic. Before we get into gear alerts and what we're testing, I had a little, I got into some hot water again, talking FC Plus with some folks on the interwebs. And so what I wanted to just chat about real quick is, where do folks talk gear, get paddle suggestions? How are you all getting the info that you need? And what are the safe spaces to talk gear? Because I'm going to outline what happened to me. But I want to know what you think, Mr. Wilson. Where do you talk gear? Is it just with me? And where are folks getting their paddle advice? But I'm gonna just tell you what happened, Wilson, because I got a podcast and I got a bone to pick. And this is where I'm gonna pick it. But all right, it was an innocent little question in one of the Facebook groups I've been involved with. Probably maybe I got involved with them probably around the time I started reviewing paddles. But it's one I had definitely lurked to get advice. And so someone asked this little innocent question: what foam paddle leans most control? Okay, what, do you have an answer before I get into what I said?
First thing that comes to mind are the TruFoams.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
The OG or the Genesis?
Both of them do lean towards the control all court side, but I think the original TruFoam Genesis leans even more. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. This is my first time hearing this conversational prompt. So TruFoams.
All right, fair enough. You might fall in the camp of the other folks then, because that wouldn't be, especially the initial TruFoam Genesis, I wouldn't say is the most control-oriented foam paddle, because you look at paddles, I feel, from a more power-oriented player's POV, and I look at them from the short game, a control player's point of view. And for me, the original Genesis had that little fiberglass plate. So if you hit dead center, you'd get a little bit more propulsion, and if you hit off center, less. And so for someone that is, probably hitting lower level than Mr. Wilson, and really focused on like keeping pop-ups to a minimum, that I felt I would think that paddle's a little more challenging than what I had said, which was, I think the Honolulu J2NF (the hybrid shape) is the most controllable full foam build I've tested. And I didn't give it a lot of thought. And then I wanted to share my videos because I did a whole breakdown of the EnhanceDuo, and I thought it would be helpful because I go into a lot more detail. Because it's really hard, to like just, you have a thought, but, I made a whole, I don't know how long that video is, probably close to 20 minutes. So I have a lot of thoughts beyond that one statement. But to me, the EnhanceDuo, that interlocking mechanism, I feel dampens the propulsiveness. And so, especially for short game players, and I think most people looking for paddle advice are typically below 4.0. And so, because 4.0 folks probably aren't asking questions. They know what they know. And so then what happened to me, Wilson, someone commented on my comment. I didn't ask them to comment, but somebody commented on my comment and said, nope, J2FC Plus and J2H Plus is defo more of a control paddle leaning than NF. All right, fair enough. But I can't help myself. Yeah, do you ever interact in Facebook? I should just stay away. But Facebook,
I am a lurker.
You're a lurker. All right.
Just like on YouTube, I mostly lurk, and on Reddit, I'll lurk. That's all I do.
Okay, fair. And at the end of this convo, after I detail this little scenario, I want to like talk about the different spaces you can talk paddles, and then maybe we could evaluate, like maybe rank them. But
Okay.
this gentleman, I replied back, sir. I didn't say sir. I said tagged his name, but everybody's different. I could see someone who likes to drive come to that conclusion, but I think it'd be difficult for anyone to label the J2FC Plus in particular as control leaning in the short game. Just my 2 cents. And then I got a reply back, compared to the NF, you're wrong. Okay. LOL, I reply back, just a different opinion. It depends how you define control. I go through my POV and why I think that in my vid. Won't be able to list out my reasoning here. And then this is how Facebook goes. It's just boom, boom. It goes back and forth. So this, he returns with his own shot. It's not opinion. It's 100%, the 100 emoji. It's 100% facts. If you don't agree, you 100% don't know what you're talking about, Mr. 35. All right, 35. I don't mind that label. I also think a 35 would probably have a better answer than what I assume is a professional player trolling in the comments. I guess he's a 6-0 offering his opinion. And luckily he had someone chime in that I do believe has discussed his level before in this Facebook group, and I think he's between a 3.5 and a 4.0, but he championed this other gentleman's cause. But yes, once again, hot water talking about the J2FC Plus. I have had some folks reach out to me or comment that they wish they had seen some of our previous coverage about the J2FC Plus, because they did agree that it was a little harder to control. And so I know you hit with the one I hit, and you did agree with me that it was more...
The FC Plus was hotter.
Hotter.
Yeah.
And so we did finally get a new unit in. That is the one that's going out now. And so we should definitely hit with that, see if we feel the same way. But I just think design-wise, the J2FC Plus does not have that interlocking mechanism that the notch foam does. And just from a logical point of view, I still think like that locking system is going to allow for a firmer feel and contact. I do think if you're a driver, if you're a 4.55 that's driving and has great controls, always hitting center, I could maybe see how you think it's more control. The FC Plus is more controllable because of that dwell allows you to shape the ball potentially more. But I think I would never say to someone else 100% facts, because these are opinions, and there are so many factors, and so when folks are hunting for paddle advice, where do you go? You can go watch the YouTube videos, but that's kind of passive because you can't really engage and get instant feedback. Although you and I both try to like reply to folks down in the comments if they have a question. You can go to Facebook. Definitely folks engage on Facebook. I don't know how helpful the convo is. I definitely think there are a lot of folks pushing affiliates stuff and are really champion whatever brand they're repping in there. And I also think, just like this anecdote illustrates, they're like, Facebook has like just an energy, and it's got older people that a lot of times, not to say all older people are opinionated and won't like consider other points of view, but it definitely, Facebook has a lot of folks that don't have like internet etiquette, and I would say that, I don't know, do you think is that off base? What do you think?
I think generally anything behind a keyboard will
Okay.
allow people to be more unfiltered, if that's a term that you could use. Um, Also, yeah, I think Facebook is more for the older generation like us. I really don't
Like
think
us, yeah.
I don't think the Gen Zs are using Facebook anymore,
Yeah,
really. I think it's more of
yeah,
a TikTok and maybe Instagram. I don't know.
yeah. Well,
But yeah,
Well, based off
keyboard,
my
filters.
based off my analytics, I'm not seeing a lot of Gen Z in pickleball yet. But yeah, I think Facebook, you can get a good amount of info, and if you can get in dialogue with someone that is willing to like dialogue, maybe. I think the Reddit pickleball space has some info, but once again, I think it is a lot of paddle pushing, and I also think that like most of the it's a very like pickleball Reddit. It's not my favorite place. There's very protected, kind of a walled garden, as far as like folks that create content trying to like share their content. It's not very much allowed, for whatever reason. And then I don't know. The one that I always found helpful was probably Pickleball Studios Discord. That's definitely, Discord is like a chat group, like kind of like chat meets Reddit, except you have to have like a little bit of like how to work an app knowledge. So there is a bit of some friction to get into that space, but I don't know. That also gets heated as well, and so I am not sure where to get like where to dialogue. To be honest, I think it's still open play. Like finding folks in the real world that you have a rapport with. But let us know down in the comments. Do you all have a resource where you can talk gear, talk paddles, maybe where it's like you don't feel attacked? I don't know. The Facebook groups, I guess that hit me hard. I don't know. I guess that's why I have a YouTube channel and a podcast. Like I can talk to you. Like you're always nice to me. But yeah, folks, like paddle reviewing their opinions. There are no like there's nothing 100% facts, as that commenter said, regarding your take on a paddle and how you label it, how you describe it. There are sure like facts regarding swing weight and twist weight, but even those don't often illustrate how a paddle feels or plays. And so a lot of it has to do with like how you play, mechanics, different things, what style of player you are, where you play, what region, how the kinds of players you're facing. And so, yeah, it's super subjective. It goes back to my conversation I had with Pickleball Studio on the podcast, which is I think it's helpful to like find a reviewer who's literally dedicated energy to like creating a video which takes effort compared to like bashing down on a keyboard in a Facebook group. Like it at least conveys like they take some care and time into what they're doing. They've put thought into it. Find a reviewer that has reviewed a paddle you do know and see if their thoughts line up with your thoughts on that paddle. And then that's who you might want to trust. But yeah, I don't know. I definitely, and folks, just be polite on the internet. Like everyone there are a ton of AI bots, but just assume who you're talking to is a real person. Why not just be polite and courteous? Like, I don't know. Like, I just be nice. Like, nice.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think just one quick thing about this topic, well, where you get information from, right? I think the best thing you can do, though, at the end of the day, is to go demo the paddle. I know it's not possible for some people or majority of the people because I don't really know that many places that demo pickleball paddles. But yeah, if you find someone who is an ambassador or who has the paddle at the local open play, um, ask them about it. Or if they're nice enough, maybe they can let you demo it for a game or two, you know? I think that's the best way, you know, so you get your own personal opinion, whether or not you like something, right? So that's
Yeah.
my take. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think that's obviously the best way. Fortunately, like some of the like harder to demo paddles from smaller companies are usually more affordable and you can take a risk, but
Mm.
definitely agree with that. And now let's move on. Matthew K. Pickleball is stepping off his soapbox or stump, whatever, wherever I stood up to say that speech. And Facebook guy, if you somehow are watching this video, I don't mean any disrespect. I just think we need to be nice to each other in general, and so nothing but good energy towards you. And now it is time. Let's talk gear alerts. I've got something exciting, Mr. Wilson. See this?
Ooh,
You see this? You see
a
this?
white TruFoam cover. What's in there?
A white TruFoam cover. You don't have to climb this mountain to get this, but you do have to do some work because this is a limited edition drop. It's a carbon TruFoamWaves Summit Edition. Gonna be only 1,000 of these made across all the shapes. Carbon very much thinks they're going to sell out, and it's the same price as a normal TruFoamWaves. So if you're hungry to get one of these paddles, I think this is very, very cool looking. And discount codes are working. Matthew K should work on this. I believe Matthew K10 also works. But it's just a normal TruFoamWaves, but looks freaking awesome. Do you see that? Everybody see that?
I love
What
my
do you
mountains.
think? You think this looks slick?
Yeah. I just like the
Uh,
cover. You know, I like Carbon's bag too. You know, the pearly white
oh
one.
right, yeah,
That one's pretty cool too.
yeah,
I like the whites.
yeah.
I like the whites
They
like
got
I like
it.
my shoes. Nice and
I
white.
understand that. They do have a good design team. They make. I also like their apparel. They just came out with a whole new line of, I think, athleisure apparel. Like stuff like you wouldn't be embarrassed to like wear at the grocery store. But this is only 1,000 are coming. Exclusive summit artwork with topographical mountainscape graphics, and so I thought this was pretty cool. And it's kind of interesting because I think this is going to become a trend in pickleball because having limited edition drops or special editions, because Volair is a company I've covered some of their paddles on the channel before. Very, very interesting company. They've been doing this, but like really pushing on this like selling paddles as almost like artwork. They're doing artist collabs right now. It's kind of like Pokemon. You really gotta collect them all. Like they're doing some really interesting stuff, and so I think traditionally we've thought of like pickleball paddles as these utilitarian objects, like, something you use to play sports, right? But I think some companies are really honed in on, like, some folks that play pickleball have expendable income, are addicted to buying paddles, and they're doing some cool stuff. I'm curious to see where this goes. But yeah, Carbon Limited Edition. That one looks great, but also plays great. So, I have covered their the previous line pretty thoroughly, the one we were just talking about, the Genesis. But there will be more coverage on the Waves soon. But I also wanted to do a little alert. Folks, if you all know of any big Black Friday sales Wilson and I should be aware of, comment down below. But one that I just got in my inbox that I just had to freaking highlight was Holbrook. You remember the ARMA paddles that released? It was right before we started podcasting, actually.
Yeah.
So this is a paddle that has a very unique design that Pickleball Studio kind of, I feel, killed out of the gate, because he had Isaac hit it hard and break it, I think, if I remember right. But basically, it's one of a kind design. Haven't seen this elsewhere. It has this centerpiece of honeycomb with wide cells, and then it's horseshoed by narrow cell honeycomb, and then there's additional foam perimeter and internal weighting. So a lot of tech packed into this thing. It came in different surfaces. This titanium weave, metallic, yeah, which looks sick. And Holbrook is known for really gritty paddles, although this doesn't feel that crazy. But then it came in a carbon fiber version, and then it had a standard. And all of these paddles are 14 millimeter, I believe. And I guess they didn't sell well, because they are doing a crazy sale on them. So for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, special code, I'm going to link it down below because it's freaking crazy. It's my first and last name, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, abbreviated 50. So it's Matthew Condart, BFCM50. I'll link it down below. That is a special discount code that's going to run from November 18th through December 2nd. And that is going to make these half off. So you could grab one for $100. And for $100, I think you could take a risk on this tech. To be honest, I think after Pickleball Studio's initial video, I don't think anyone hit with them. And so I don't know. Did you hear anything else about durability? Like, everyone was just reporting on that, but I mean,
no,
I mean, you might crush stuff, but
maybe I'll have to borrow yours and take it for a spin. I don't know.
Yeah, little weak arm Matthew's not going to crush this. And so I think it would be very cool. I'm really, right now, and we'll talk about this later in the pod, wide cell polypropylene is my jam. I think I might be exclusive that soon, but we'll talk more. But so I think doing that, to be honest, I don't quite know what the benefit of having the narrow cell, other than you're putting a little bit more weight because it's denser, so you get more swing weight. I'm not really quite sure, like, why you would. I guess they're just treating it as higher density, like just like how we have like foam weighting, extra foam up here. Like, I'm not quite, but maybe it plays differently. Like, well, I'm sure it plays differently, but very curious. Always been curious about these. So yeah, we should blow the dust off them and talk about more ancient gear, since that's what our channel is all about.
It's crazy in pickleball, right? Because you're saying it's ancient, and I agree. It's been a while since I've heard about that, the ARMAs, but it was only this year.
It was this year.
Yeah,
this year was crazy. But we'll talk later in the pod. I think we're about to swing. I think we're about to swing where we're just going to have two lanes of pickleball paddles, foam and non-foam. And there are a lot of benefits to either one. Once again, it goes back to like knowing your play style, and there are no absolutes. Like one version of paddle isn't necessarily better than the other because there are so many X factors. And so we're going to chat about that a little later. But I did have two more gear alerts, and then we'll move on, folks. I promise. But this one is one we've got some friends in the comments. They have been waiting for us to cover this. And folks, Wilson has a stack of paddles that he's supposed to grab to start hitting stuff. And I almost posted, and this is after I gave him an IKEA bag full of paddles to get going on. But we've got these, the new stack's more pressing. But this is the Packle EVO 01, but the reactive edition. And so you have reviewed the previous version quite a bit. You're a very big fan. You used to main that paddle. You want to give a little refresher on the OG?
Yeah, it's a great Gen 3 paddle. It has the extra foam horseshoe ring around the edge. What I liked about it though was that it wasn't too powerful. It wasn't like a Yola Pro 4 or anything, but it still did have a lot of pop and power, which is why I stuck with it and I actually made it my main for a while. I
Yeah.
played a few tournaments earlier this year, and my first money ball, that I did with the Evo 1 from Packle. And yeah, I'm very impressed that up until now it still hasn't core crushed. I don't know what they're doing,
Yeah.
but it's working right now. So yeah,
What?
it's a great one. But I do have to say that a lot of people who held my paddle did say it was kind of hefty. It didn't bother
Hefty.
me, but I think that's why they came out with the React. Is that what it's called?
Reactive. So
Reactive.
basically,
Yeah.
you're right. They wanted to make a lighter version. And so this is the EVO 01 Reactive. And so just like
Mm.
the one Wilson has talked about, it has a foam channel. But what's different about this than I think every other Gen 3, it has a second foam channel cutting through
Mm.
the honeycomb. And so it's built a little differently. And so the new version, they claim their cores are pre-formed, and so it eliminates hot spots and core crush. And so
Maybe that's why.
that
Huh?
that's a hard, like, I'm not quite sure what that means pre-formed, but they definitely are aware of core crushing. I know we did a whole podcast talking about Packle and how I predicted that it was going to be the next Honolulu Pickleball Company, because they basically started with like a very like controllable version of the J2K, their kind of take on it. But they ultimately knew about the power race. They had been working on foam before anyone else. They were one of the first companies working on a foam paddle.
That silence
And
paddle.
then yes, which is Dunzo, sold out. But this is like their take on a power paddle. This is the lighter version, and yeah, its average weight now is 8.1 to 8.3 ounces. Very like manageable. They're shooting for a 116 to 122 swing weight, so pretty big range. But the twist weight's a nice 6.07, and yeah, it's one of those companies that you're not gonna see one of these in the wild probably, so you have to shoot your shot. But after it's on sale right now, after promo code Matthew K, you can grab it for 119. And so, yeah, very interesting take. And so we need to hit these. People are asking about that, and similarly, people want they finally came in. I think we're the last reviewers to get them, but we have EnhancePickleball's EnhanceDuo in the house. This comes out November 15th, so I think probably the day after this podcast is released. This is getting a lot of love, and it's like they're really put out effort to create a good feeling paddle, a good feeling foam paddle, and I try to describe the tech that was going into this last time, but now I can show you because they sent a sample of their core. And so last week we were talking about how the EPP goes all the way to the edge of the paddle. So if you see here, this goes all the way like to the edge. Except if you look here,
It's notched.
it's notched. And so once again, kind of like how we were talking about the notch foam paddle from Honolulu, I really like when companies are experimenting and figuring out how to get this foam to feel more like a pickleball paddle. And so their attempt is to like bring in this stability. It goes all the way to the edge, and then they dump the EVA here. But one thing that I don't think the reviewers have highlighted is this notch at the throat. We saw something similar with the Rhombus Quanta paddles, and basically I think this is a better approach than a full diving board the way that FC Plus, that like this piece runs all the way down, and so it really creates that mousetrap feeling. This I'm very excited to hit with. I think it's gonna dampen that propulsiveness, and so but this shows what I was trying to say a lot better.
Quick side note.
Yeah.
In our previous conversation about having control foam paddles, I think the Enhanced 4.5 was on the control side. I got to play a few
Okay.
games. I got in like 2 sessions with it, and I think I would call that a control foam paddle too. Yeah. All right.
All right. We will we'll try to do a comparison of these two. But once again, after promo code Matthew K 20 is the one to use. That knocks off $20, and 8 to 8.2 ounces static weight target, swing weight 118 to 122.
Yeah.
And then a 6.5 twist weight. And so
Typical elongated.
Yeah. But I like the feel in the hands. And you know what? We were kind of talking a little bit about Enhance's design and how they simplified it.
That's much
You
more
know
subtle.
what? Yeah, but I appreciate having these now, because today I had to weight up a paddle that had no logos, nothing, and I couldn't get them lined up right. It took me forever, and so I like that it's a little more subtle though. But I think you could just do lines. I don't think you need, but it doesn't matter. I like that, and so it has a good function. And so Wilson, come get your freaking paddles, dude. But anyway. All right, folks. I think that brings us to the end of the gear alerts. And so let's just keep things rolling. What are we testing right now? This segment is presented by our friends over at SwiftNet. If you're looking for the best portable pickleball net, one that could be used to make a freaking spaceship with all the carbon fiber inside of it, check out SwiftNet. Promo code Matthew K gets you the best price. And once again, folks, I beg you, let me know if you ever buy a SwiftNet, because I have been talking about this thing for ages and I don't know if anyone's bought one, and I want to know. So if you buy one, definitely comment or shoot me a message. And now I think you've been testing something pretty interesting. All right, folks. I have forced Wilson to work hard. He stayed up late last night at the courts, freaking lighting candles, turning on car headlights to get some hits in, working, burning that midnight oil to test out some new paddles from Engage. And they're kind of a tough company to get paddles from. And so this is kind of a bit of a scoop. remind me, you were hitting with the Alpha in 16 millimeter, the Alpha Pro in 16 millimeter, and their new Profoam, which only comes in 14 millimeter. And so why don't you just walk us through the different paddles and tell us what you think? And that's it. I'm gonna shut up.
All
Let's hear
right.
you talk.
Okay, let's see if I can do this, huh? Um, so they came out with two new Gen 3 style paddles and then one full foam core paddle. This is the Pro Foam. I'll start out with the Gen 3s. Um, they have the Alpha and the Alpha Pro. You can think of the Alpha Pro as the power version. It's very different from tennis though, because usually anything with pro and tennis is always control oriented. But anyways, Alpha Pro is the power one. I first tried the Alpha, which I thought was a very controllable. It was honestly lacking some power. The first thing I noticed was that, huh, my my drives are not going past half court. And then my punches, my speed ups and everything were not going as fast as I'm used to with like, for example, the bread and butter loco or something. But when I was at the kitchen though, it was fine. The dinking was very controllable. Resets weren't too bad. Um, but this thing was, like I said, it was very controllable. I could really shape the ball. It felt really nice. Also, um, the alphas have very good grit. I really like it. Yeah, so um, the grip was something I noticed was much better than the previous Engage paddles. They weren't too fat or chunky. Has a great octagonal shape. Yeah, overall, I like it. That was the Alpha. I think that one is $200, $199. Uh,
But we
mm,
are now. You can get these at Pickleball Central to get the 30-day test drive. But we are now set up over at Engage if you buy it directly. So the Alpha is 170 after promo code Matthew K.
not bad.
Which there's not a lot of discounts for Engage. So
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. Yeah. So the alpha, I would call it the control paddle of the bunch. Next thing is the Alpha Pro. This is the power version of it. This is the Gen 3 power. This is what I imagine a Gen 3 paddle to be like. This one, as soon as I hit with it after playing with the Alpha, I immediately noticed the the increase in the power and pop. My drives were back to normal. They went all the way back to the end of the court. My speed ups were hitting their targets, body bagging and everything. Yeah, but the dinking and the control was still there, which I liked. But yeah, I honestly I would spend a little extra money just to get the Alpha Pro. Um, the amount of power that's lacking in the Alpha is noticeable. So I mean, unless you are really good at generating your own power and you really want a control-oriented paddle, then I would go with the Alpha. But if you want any type of power or pop, I would go with the Alpha Pro. All in all, I do like it. I like it more. I do wish that it came. I wish it came in the same shapes, honestly. You don't get the option. For people who are not actually watching the video, the Alpha comes in a squared off head, and then the Alpha Pro comes in a arrow curved Hyperion style head. Um, I don't mind it at all, but my preference is the square rectangular squared off head of elongated paddles. Yeah,
and
so
then And then one thing to note, the Alpha Pro, that one's 221,
mhm,
but if you buy directly after promo code Matthew K. But one thing that's interesting about the Alpha paddles is they claim to be they're unibody, if I understand that right, but they also
mhm.
claim to use some sort of carbon frame, which I am very curious to see if there's an X-ray floating around to see if that's what similar to what the Ruby Pro is using, because it definitely for the Ruby Pro that made for a very connected feel with the when you struck the ball. Did you feel connected to the to your stroke with these paddles? I'm trying to figure out if this
Mm,
frame does anything.
Connected. I mean, these weren't too rigid. These all overall felt very these pocketed the ball pretty well. I don't know about the
Okay,
carbon strips or anything. I didn't notice anything too crazy there.
fair.
Um, yeah, but yeah,
All right.
so
What about this Pro Foam bad boy?
yeah, those are the alphas, the Gen 3s. And then I like how they dropped the Gen 3 and the Gen 4 all at once. Like, here you go, everyone. Take what you
Yeah.
want.
It,
So yeah, so this is the Profoam. I believe it only comes in a 14 millimeter.
correct.
Um, this thing, the first thing I noticed is that it's much smoother than the alphas. This has barely any grit, and that doesn't really help too much with the 14 millimeter aspect of this paddle. Um, I would say, unfortunately, this is probably my least favorite out of the three. It has a very small sweet spot, and it was really lacking in feel. I don't know, maybe it's the foam, but the sweet spot felt really small, and anytime I hit off center a little bit, and as you can see, I don't hit that off center. There you go. I don't actually hit that off center, but even then, I just felt like
Put it in front of your face. Put it in front of your face,
in front
Wilson.
of my face.
That that's how we'll see it. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, okay.
Look at that. That's not what Matthew K. Pickleball's paddles look like.
This is 2 hours of playing with it. Um, so yeah, this was really lacking in feel, and I mean, even though I'm hitting pretty center, um, it just didn't feel like I was hitting center. The sweet spot even didn't feel like the sweet spot. I don't know, but I think this is on the
Well,
more expensive side too. This says the same price as the Alpha Pro, so
that
yeah.
one's actually it's strange. They definitely realized Alpha Pro is their real like premium option because the Pro Foam after promo code is actually 195 50 cents after promo code Matthew K, whereas the Pro is 221. So they definitely
They
realize
know.
which
They know.
yeah, they know which is best. But it sounds like I believe the Pro Foam uses high density foam in its core, and maybe that's something that will open up. That's what happened to me with the Black Opal. Like it had a very narrow sweet spot, and that's also using a high density foam. I don't know if they're comparable density wise. Like the Engage like
No,
info
but
is kind of hard to gather. Yeah,
the, I mean, the power paddles, even did you say the Black Opal? You said the Black Opal, right? No.
the Black Opal is like the only like thing in recent memory I've hit where there was a change in the sweet
Yeah.
spot while I was testing.
Actually, the Bread and Butter Loco felt the same way for me, but this didn't feel like any of it. I mean, it doesn't even have that hollowy thud that people who like foam paddles get from
All
foam
right.
paddles. I don't know. This one's just okay.
You
Yeah.
you are not in love with the Pro Foam, but you
I'm
like
not.
the
I
Alpha.
tried.
You like the Alpha Pro though.
Yeah.
All right.
So Alpha Pro is my number one. If people wanted to get one of these and support Engage, which I recommend. I mean, I like them as a company. The Alpha Pro is the go-to. Then the next would be the Alpha, and then the Pro Foam. But one thing I do
Yeah.
love about Engage though is their awesome warranty, right? I mean, it's a lifetime warranty for Gen 3 paddles.
Yeah, I think that's the reason you would pay these premium prices if you're concerned about crushing, breaking. Obviously that replacement is built into their model, and but yeah, I think the Engage paddles are. I'm glad to see Engage like embracing new tech because I feel they've been a little behind,
Almost like Paddle
which
Tech,
is
huh?
fine.
Actually,
Well,
Paddle Tech's doing better.
we'll talk about paddle tech in a little bit.
Okay.
But I think Engage had some market share that they could fight for, and I think experimenting with some of the new design techniques, I think it's going to be like their paddles are just going to have to get in more hands. Like I always, when I was starting out in pickleball, like really serious players played with Engage paddles, and still there are a lot of like coaches and stuff. Like they're really like that brand is really part of that culture, at least out here in SoCal, and so glad to see them experimenting. What are you pointing at?
I know a lot of people have negatively commented about their previous um, graphics, the one with the target, the crosshairs.
Yeah,
But I kind of liked it. I kind of miss it. They don't have it anymore in
yeah,
any of their new paddles, and I kind of miss it
you're right.
personally.
I didn't clock that. That is what Engage.
I
Yeah,
do
why were
miss the
people
crosshair.
upset about it?
People just said it's kind
What
of
was the?
too not upset about it, but they're like, can't they do something else? Can't they? I don't know.
Fair enough.
Not everybody
I
liked it in some of the comments that I've seen,
I
but
see.
I enjoyed it. So I don't know.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, folks. Well, folks, if you're concerned about paddle looks, if you want something that stands out, we are now going to talk about
Ooh.
the Charm Dice Core from PickleballApes. I've been hitting with this thing. This thing sticks out at open play. This is an aramid fiber weave that is very orange, and we talked about this last time. I think this is available now. Promo code Matthew K works over with them. I guess the old ape is extinct. This is the new ape. I know that because all of their merch that has the old ape is on like super sale right now. So if you're looking for that cute ape, go check that out. But I'm really enjoying this paddle. I think just like the EnhanceDuo, we're trying to find foam paddles where companies are now looking at feel, which is the thing I care about most is paddle feel plus like how it jumps off the face. And so I've been hitting with this one. I'm really enjoying this paddle a lot. Kind of like what we were talking about with the Duo. It has some stuff that we saw in the Rhombus Quanta. It has polyurethane inserts, and if you guys remember in the Quanta they had them here, well the Charm has them here and up here, so all four corners, and their claim is that it helps with shock absorption, vibration dampening without creating a trampoline effect. And that's what I want to hear more companies say. I don't like this trampoline thing. Are you a fan? I can't remember. Do you like the
I like
trampoline
it.
effect?
Oh, I love it.
You do? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, you do. All right. Well, you had some tennis lessons as a kid, bruh. So us kids that didn't have tennis, like we need our pickleball paddles to play like pickleball paddles. So I really am enjoying this one, and I'm kind of like hitting all the Apes paddles. And so look, guys, why'd he disappear? He's so cute. And so this was the Pulse, and this was a Gen 3 paddle, but a pretty unique one. Wide foam walls around polypropylene honeycomb. And this thing is actually on sale right now. It's 150 before code. And so this is this has, compared to the new Charm paddle, this has and I know commenters are going to chime in, to me, it has a higher launch angle, all things equal. And so some people might describe that as being poppier. That's not how I'm describing it. I'm just saying the ball leaves the paddle face at a higher degree, which probably has to do with how long it dwells. But anyway, and this is actually pretty aggressive, this paddle, compared to this one. This I really like. I like everything about this paddle. But then they had the Harmony series that came out, which seems to have been a little bit of a side quest for PickleballApes, and they're putting this thing on sale too. It's $135 before code, and so after code it's going to be even cheaper. And so this uses the same inserts, the polyurethane inserts, as the Charm dice, or as the Charm line, except it's honeycomb. And so you've actually hit with one of these. It was a super control paddle, right?
Yeah, it was. Initially, I didn't like it. I felt like it was just too dense and not very. Uh, it just felt too dense, and the ball kind of died after I hit it. But after a few games, it opened up, and although it's still a control paddle, it felt much nicer, and I could actually see myself playing an actual game with it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I think they've figured out a nice little lineup. Like they got the control, and this is, I'd say, power leaning all court, and I'd still say this is probably power. And I've been hitting with the standard ones, so obviously like the elongateds are gonna be more powerful overall. But I think this one hit a nice combo. And basically what you described, your issue that you had, swap that polypropylene out with foam, and
There you
then
go.
you there. So I think very fun paddle, great line, and I think they're a cool company, and so definitely worth checking those out. And then I am also, you already mentioned it, we've been talking about it. The reason we're talking about it again is because I'm working on a review. I'm still hitting with the Locos. I do think they're just very top of the line. They're lean more power than probably the Charm paddles. At
For
least like
sure.
uncustomized. But I think you can get really good shape. I actually compared the elongated. I'm about to drop a full review on the SciPic Avatar. I thought this one had a lot of similarities. I know, what'd you say you thought the Avatar, what was your
I
take?
I could see them being compared to each other. However, the Loco is definitely still more powerful and poppier than the Avatar. That's just my
Okay.
opinion. Yeah. But both great paddles.
But But don't forget, you were playing with a stock Loco, and my avatar had 6 grams of Pickleball Effects speed coins in the handle. So that definitely could have
That
impacted
could have
your
slowed it down, huh? Yeah, I didn't know
perception.
that. Yeah.
But I think they had a lot of similarities, but the Locos are way cheaper. And so, or yeah, they're cheaper. And
Also,
so really,
even though they're sold out, they're probably still easier to get overall.
although if you're looking for a side pick paddle, check out Spinwave Pickleball. They're going to be talked about in my video. I know we've already talked about them. I'll leave a link in the description. They're a great place to get side pick gear where you don't have to like do a weird DM to somebody on
The
Instagram.
only place you can, yeah, basically.
There are other places, but
Uh,
that's the one that I've talked to, and they seem they also have a really cool program where they'll customize the paddle for you, which is cool. But anyway, this one I'm really enjoying. This shape is still like I think one of Bread and Butter's like best shapes, one of the best things that they brought to their line. And then they have, we've already discussed this, and I would say I've gotten used to this shape. I think it opened up a little bit and the sweet spot widened up, and my thinking about the shaved cheeks compared to their old hybrid style, I'm not very concerned about it. And so this is definitely if you're needing that hand speed. But this review is imminent, and we will be doing a giveaway, so make sure you subscribe. We're going to be giving away a Loco, so subscribe to the channel. But Wilson, I told you I snuck away this morning.
what
I
did you
got some
try?
testing in before this rain, and so I have a couple more things to talk about, and then we'll let you make us better at pickleball with the tip of the week. But first, I have been struggling. No. The LuzzCannon love has just been so embraced by everybody. But story time, folks. All right, Wilson and I, we hadn't been playing much. And then we didn't get our test session in last week. And then all of a sudden I'm there, I'm texting Wilson. It's like Thursday night maybe. I'm like, should we go do the social? Should we go do the social? So Wilson and I we went and did this pickleball social where you can get some good games in. We did an hour test session prior where we got to run through a lot of different paddles. And one of the paddles I wanted to hit with more was the LuzzCannon. And then we hadn't played. Neither of us had not played, and we weren't playing our best. But you know what? When there's a challenge court, you want to go. You want to go. So we played some games with some friendly games, just fooling around. But then Wilson and I, we put our 1,000-yard stare, our serious face, and we got into that line. And I think we did one pretty good one, but then we played against a coach there, and then a 14-year-old kid, I think, and they destroyed us. We could not get our act together. It was embarrassing, and the kid was playing with a LuzzCannon, playing with it well, and I clocked his setup, but I was actually hitting some with the LuzzCannon, and it the issue I was having was I have changed my grip setup twice on my LuzzCannon, and I re-gripped it to the circumference that I'm comfortable with. I actually realized when I undid it, I was telling you I can't feel the notches on the handle, right? I had already put tape to highlight the notches on my one I had that night, but I just wasn't getting the feedback on the handle. I think the handle might be flatter than what I'm used to. It was just, I could not secure my grip the way I wanted. And so I am working on a big Luzz video though. And so I got to get these freaking paddles hit. And I think the power, I was really liking it. I just couldn't feel secure because my grip was shifting. And so what I did was, last night, I took everything off. I stripped it naked. And I decided to finally use one of EthosPickleball's Pro undergrips. So this is the one that's only for right-handers. And it's, the right-handers. They have their previous undergrip is universal. But I was using the latest. And so what I like about the Ethos undergrip compared to a Hesicor is the Ethos undergrip is very close to the handle. It sits very close to the handle. It's I'd say less bulky. It's kind of reminiscent of a corded grip, which no one likes those because the cord's never where it needs to be. But Ethos designed it to where especially if you're a continental, your finger falls into the grooves, and that I use that, and then I did not put it, so it sits very slim, and a lot of folks like these slim grips because they are flicking and moving stuff, and I do think the Hesicor might get in the way for that. And then if you choose the carbon fiber Hesicor, it's very hard. And so I think this offers a lot. You definitely have really good feedback on the handle. It does guide your grip. But for me, I ended up doing some athletic pre-wrap. I did a layer of that. I also built up the butt with some gaff tape right under where the grip sits. Not as much as you would have used.
I was going to say, did I convert you to the thicker bottom
your
end?
setup? Yes, your setup on my Quanta. That's now what I am striving for, and so I don't know how you build up the butt that big. But anyway,
I'll show you next time.
I'm working on it. But so I played with this new set, and I actually used. I love you dripping. I love Bodhi. I love our new cookie grips. But for this guy, since the undergrip was so big, I had to break out a classic tennis Turna Mega Tack. I still have some of those. I wanted tact. And I will note though, this is not as much tack as my Palbia or whatever those Padel overgrips I talked about last time. This is not as tacky. I can't Palbia. I'll leave a link down below. But if you want the tackiest, those are the tackiest. Someone commented when they were demoing one of my paddles. They're like, "What is this? This is like glue." They did not like those. But this is. I needed the ultra long grip, overgrip, and so my setup is the Ethos undergrip, the latest version, a layer of athletic pre-wrap, and then a Turna Mega Tack. And I really like the feel. I am contemplating doing one more overgrip, but I have to feel it out because, like, just like a Hesicor, like my measuring doesn't work because it's different heights. But I really like how it helps my grip feel secure, and it works both sides of the paddle. And I don't think it would be as intrusive as a Hesicor, especially I do change grips when I play now. Like if I'm doing an overhead, I will change my grip. And that was one of my struggles with the Luzz with the standard grip, or with how I built the grip up. I just didn't have enough feedback on the handle to get my grip back in place. And so I feel very secure. I will say though, bro, this thing hits hard. This is a hard-hitting paddle.
They don't call it a cannon for nothing.
This is freaking a hard hitter. This is a banger. Yeah. And so at the end of my session this morning, I went to a wall, and I am using some enhanced balance pods for my next session to try to mute that pop a little bit for my play style. But
I love the gold on black.
Yeah, it looks pretty. I was thinking it would be cool if it was all black, but this was the one I had in the bag.
Yeah.
And so, gonna try that setup out. But yeah, this rips. I think it's. People are comparing it to the Pro 4s. I had liked the Agassi Pro 14. This is definitely more aggressive than that, and so this is a 16mm paddle. But I think it's potentially livelier off the face than the Pro 4s. And this has a crazy loud noise. This is crazy. You've hit with this. What was your take again?
Oh, I love all of the Luzz paddles. And this one I like the most because this is a paddle that I would actually purchase. The other ones are great. However, they are a lot more expensive. So this is the best balance between power and price.
Yeah, $92.65 after promo code MagicPay.
Can't complain about
I
that.
think, yeah, I mean, I think if you're serious about pickleball, this is gonna get in your bag. Like, it's just $92. Like, how could you not? Also, like we were paying more for X-Packs back in the day.
I paid about that much. Yeah. But the X-Pack didn't come with the Kung Fu Panda theme version. That one's awesome. I actually saw it. I saw it at one of the local parks. I'm like, is that the Kung Fu Panda cannon? And he's like, yeah, that is. And I'm like, that's pretty cool.
I'm seeing the candy one. That kid,
that was pretty
really good.
He's actually sponsored by Luzz, so yeah.
Well, he was ripping.
That's a pretty colorway too.
Yeah, I like that one too. But okay, and this is kind of what I've been hinting at earlier, because we have just different styles of paddles now. This is Gen 3. This is a power freaking monster. Power monster here. But, listen, I don't think you know this. I have been trying forever to get this paddle.
Oh, ProXR, huh?
This is ProXR's signature Jolt paddle. So this is a Gen 3 paddle. 16.5 inches, 7.5 inches, 6-inch grip, EVA foam, polypropylene core, 13 millimeters. Do you know of another 13 millimeter Gen 3 paddle?
Not off the top of my head.
I don't think you do.
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
you do. There aren't a lot of them. I'll tell you that. The first, so this I've been waiting for, and it took me forever to get one. And I think Zane Navratil plays with this one. I don't really know how to confirm that, but I played with this because I did a whole video on like ProXR's history because they got involved with paddle tech recently. Go watch that video if you want to learn more. But I was very curious about how they were evolving their line. And this is a control Gen 3 paddle. Very interesting. I think these foam enhanced paddles, the thinner they get, it's kind of the reverse of how Gen 1 paddles were. The thinner they get, the more controllable they are. And that's my take. And this, you can shape, you can place, but then if you do have an overhead, you can overhit your serves. Like, there is power that gets activated. And I think this is an awesome paddle if you are a control leaning player. I'm going to be hitting this a lot more. These are just my first impressions, but I freaking really like this thing. And here's the real kicker. After promo code Matthew K, this is $99.99.
Oh.
So this is a real brand, like warranties,
Luzz is a
all
real
that.
brand.
Luzz, has anyone ever warranted one? Anyway,
That's true.
but
ProXR,
yes,
yeah.
of course they're a real brand, but this is an established brand. That's how I should say it.
I like
an
that,
established brand, a known entity, and I like that they are trying to carve a lane for modern paddles that are control oriented, because I think the power race really has pushed everyone power, pop, and this I think is a special paddle. And I think it's probably because I was thinking about this because I hit this and then I've been waiting to hit these till I had that. These are the ProtoHype paddles. Okay? So the word on the street is they're basically paddle techs in ProXR's shapes, if I remember right. And these are pricey. These are $250 before code. The first version of these sold out in under an hour. It's Jack Monroe's current weapon of choice, according to the website. They have the two shapes. They're more standard-y shape, and then the same shape we were just talking about. Holy smoke, Wilson. Holy smoke. Holy smoke. This ProtoHype paddle is
Do they live up to the
awesome.
hype?
So they, in my eyes, so this was Control Next Gen. This is Power Pop Next Gen. But the same shape, same company. But you can tell this is utilizing a lot of the paddle tech DNA. And I just have to say, I freaking love paddle tech and ProtoHype's handles. They assemble their handles, I'm pretty sure. Because this is not a Gen 3 paddle. This is, I believe, if I understand everything right, it's just made the way the paddle techs are, if I understand everything right. But I freaking love these shapes. Because I've done a whole video on the standard or the ALWC ESQC series. I just reviewed PaddleTech's hybrid, their new version, and that thing is like kind of a swingy paddle. This is so balanced. So was the standard. This is special. I don't know where this is going to live, because I think, here's my theory, Wilson, tell me what you think.
Mm-hmm.
I think ProXR, since they're now like kind of wedded to PaddleTech, this is PaddleTech. When you think of PaddleTech, you think of lightweight poppy power, right?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Anna Lee plays with. Those are what, when you think of a PaddleTech, you think of these aggressive, lightweight bangers. But then they have all these control paddles that I don't think anyone really talks about. And so what I think might be happening is ProXR is going to be for the control lovers, but still competitive. Like, this is a tournament ready paddle. Like, the pros are using these. You can get the power you need, but it is a control paddle. It's designed to place, to dink, to control, but you can get power if you know what you're doing. And PaddleTechs, I think, are now going to stay in the power pop lane, is my theory. And so I'm not sure we're going to see the ProtoHypes live with ProXR, but maybe those shapes could get brought to PaddleTech. We'll see. These exist right now. If you've got the budget, I don't think you'd regret getting them. They're freaking awesome. But if you're a control lover, this new Jolt is very, very good paddle, in my opinion. And I think it gives you what you need to stand up in today's raised power ceiling. But I still need to hit both of these in more competitive scenarios. So these are ones I want you to hit with as well.
Okay.
But I'm excited. Can you tell I'm excited?
Yes.
All right. I'm excited. And I did want to highlight also, ProXR is doing something crazy right now. They're doing these mystery starter packs. After promo code Matthew K, you can get a box of gear for $130. That's supposed to be valued at $400. PaddleTech is doing something similar. So once again, I think they've got some shared stuff going on. But they don't use discount codes anymore. If you want that discount with PaddleTech, you got to use my specific link. And that is it. That's all I've got, Mr. Wilson. Do you have any questions? I've been waiting for that ProXR. I'm just so happy that it, like, I was like, I'm not sure. What is it? This is very controllable. But then as I play with it more, I saw when it's like you can activate the power when you need to. And I think, Wilson, I'm going to stop talking in a second, but I think I figured out the style of paddle for me.
What's that?
It's headlight. It's lightweight overall, but definitely headlight. And then I do need activated assistance with power. So I need to get another gear if I swing hard. And then I want straightforward play off the face. I don't need a ton of dwell. I want to shape my shots off the surface. And I think the PaddleTech DNA, I also like a control-oriented Gen 3 take, but like the ProXR. But those are the things. I think headlight, I don't mind brief fast play off the face. I just can't have it dwell and then propel off. And then I don't like super swingy. And I don't think I need a super big sweet spot. So that gives me some access to that lightweight. And so, I don't know. I'm figuring it out. Maybe the guy on Facebook will tell me what paddle to get.
I'm glad you finally got some ProXRs to try out, and I'm excited to try them out myself.
All right. Guys, did you hear that? Wilson wouldn't help me with my callback to the previous story. You just let my joke die. What kind of co-host are you, Wilson?
Sorry,
you're killing me.
It went over my head.
All right. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, you know what doesn't go over Wilson's head? Overheads. Because that guy, he knows what he's doing. He's got a badminton background, and that's why he's qualified to give us the tip of the week because he knows what he's doing. This segment is presented by our friends over at BodhiPickleball. If you're looking for grips, if you're looking for weights, if you're looking for tournament bags, if you're looking for a rag to wipe your sweaty forehead, check out BodhiPickleball. Promo code Matthew K will get you the best price. All right, make us better at pickleball, Mr. Wilson.
All right, let's do this. My tip of the week is on drop volleys. And for those who don't know exactly what a drop volley is, it's like one of those shots that you catch the ball out of the air and you just literally drop it into the kitchen. A nice little drop shot. Um, and I would, for the most part,
Where are you? Where are you on
you
the
would be up
court
in the
for
front.
this?
You would be up in the at the kitchen line too, and then you'll be up there, and then you just drop it right into the kitchen. It's kind of like a high dink, if you would say. It's a high short dink, but for the most part, you wouldn't really use this in your typical games. Traditionally, I wouldn't even recommend using it at all. But if you do, you should practice it during warm up or even during your drill sessions before you actually bring it out onto a high pressure situation. Um, so, in order to do this, um, my recommendation is to catch the ball at the net height or higher. And the reason you want to do that instead of catching it really low when the ball is already falling down after the bounce is because it's easier to gently drop the ball into your opponent's kitchen um, when it's closer to the net versus when you're catching it below the net. It's kind of like going for a 3-point shot in basketball, right? It's harder than going in for a layup. So catch the ball high and close to the net versus low and below the net, and you're trying to pop it up and over. So yeah, so catch it high. And the reason you would probably see this sometimes when you see like pros or advanced players when their opponents are all the way in the back of the court and then they're banging it away at you and your partner, and then they're already in the back and they're already out of position, so then you want to gently drop it in the front, so they got to go rush up to try to catch it. But the problem is that if you don't do a good enough shot, if you don't do a good enough drop volley, you're kind of inviting them up into the net. And then you kind of lose your advantage of being in the front and them being in the back. So the general rule of thumb is try to keep your opponents all the way back and wait until they make a mistake or if there's an opening that you can just put away. Um, Drop volleys are more of a fancier shot. But yeah, uh, when to use it. You only want to use it when your opponent is off balance and in the back. If they're already doing a third shot drop and they're coming forward, don't do it. You're like I said, you're inviting them forward and you're giving up your advantage by letting them come forward to the kitchen. Yeah, so it's a great tool to use to make your opponents run around like crazy. Um, and but the one thing I must have to say though is don't go to the local open play uh, and 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 use it on Bertha or anybody who had a recent hip or knee replacement. It's not very nice. Unfortunately, some people will try to still go after it and they may hurt themselves because they got to run from the baseline all the way to the net to try to catch your little drop shot. So read the court. If you have less mobile opponents, maybe keep it in your arsenal and don't bring it out just in that game. Maybe the next game when you play some high schoolers or something. But yeah, it's a great way to move your opponents. Yeah.
All right, Wilson. I think you need to go put up some postings where I do morning open play because I see that used on seniors all the time.
Oh, that's mean.
And, yeah, I see that. I think I saw it this morning. But then I think people justify it because some folks will just lob you all day. Yeah, man, the seniors, they take it seriously, but you'll feel bad if you
I don't want to
break
hurt anybody over pickleball.
Yeah. But yeah, I've seen that shot, and it's becoming pretty weaponized, to be honest. Even outside of like targeting less mobile folks, like I'm seeing advanced players. I mean, I've seen you practice this, and I think in more
I always
advanced
screw it
games,
up,
I think the real time. Not always. I do laugh out loud though when you do, but I think the time is when, of course, you could do it like early in a rally, but I think a really good time, I guess, if you're do it early in a rally, it would be like your opponents are glued to the baseline. You, like, for whatever reason, they want to drive, and they're not moving up. So yeah, you could obviously tick it off then. Like, I think you'll have many chances in open play, but I think the real time is when you've figured out how to push your opponents back. Like, you've worked them from the kitchen line and forced them lobs, whatever, and then they're out of breath. They're, too many hits in, and you got in that rally. I going to that open play where we got torn up by some higher level folks the other day. You told me, I think it was then, you told me no, I don't think it was then. Another time, someone told me I was just dinking too long, and they tried to end the point. And I think if the point goes on too long, there's a chance that you're going to be the guy that does the forced error. And so, yeah, I think it's a good punctuation on a long rally. If you got them pushed back, you're just going to keep them there forever and let them move back up. Maybe this is the time to pull that out. But just don't practice it against Bertha, and don't practice it against Matthew K. Pickleball at open play. It's early, folks. He doesn't want to run up there, and he's probably testing out a pair of shoes that doesn't fit the exact right way. And if you make him run up like that, his foot could slide up and hit the toe box, and then he's uncomfortable at the rest of open play. So come on, guys, save it for your friends. All right. Okay. With that PSA out of the way, I think we'll just move right along. Let's wrap things up. Don't forget about those giveaways. We just gave away a Honolulu Notch Foam paddle. We gave away a Thrive Fury paddle. And I'm trying desperately to give away a Carbon TruFoam Genesis 4. Dude, you won that paddle. I said your name at the top of the pod. Check your email. Come on, I need to get that to you. And then we're still giving away a pair of Soleil's pickleball shoes with my 6.0 Ruby Pro review, a Rhombus Quanta with that video, some Bodhi accessories with the Vatic V Soul review, and folks are really liking that giveaway. I've got a lot of comments for that one. And then with the Black Opal video that just dropped, we are giving away a quartz paddle, and I think I even saw Wilson enter for that one, so it's competitive. And then don't forget that last podcast, we're giving away a pickle zapper, not to be confused with a real pickleball paddle. Do not use it to play pickleball, only use it to zap those pesky flies. And that's about all I've got. But most importantly, folks, don't forget, it's about having fun when you finally make it to the pickleball courts. Do you agree with that sentiment, Mr. Wilson?
Yes, it's all about having fun.
It's all about having fun. So we hope you get to pickle soon, and just don't forget, it's about having fun.